1. MDO podcast, episode 32. We back. So, this is my second stream of the day. And I got white boy wasted after the first stream and passed out for so long that we up hours and hours and hours later. But yeah, I'm finally awake. About to spark a spliff. This morning stream was lit. I had a good time. It was lit, man. What we doing right now? We're doing something a little different. This is our third and final part of jayz Exposed, featuring Tasha K. And I forgot this young lady's name who she's interviewing. We had a lot of fun on this little journey. I want to apologize to some of you guys for the people who are really, how should I say, for the people who are really, I don't know if I should say clerical. We were supposed to do, for jayz Exposed, that was supposed to be a 3-part series back to back, but unfortunately, I think we was only able to do part 1 and 2 back to back. So I'm sorry for that, but this is part 3. As far as the jayz topic, jayz Exposed is gonna be a series, but I don't like the name jayz Exposed because to somebody who doesn't know me, or to somebody who doesn't really watch the show, they would think it's like a jayz hate party, and literally that's not what it is. So we're gonna be, we might put hip hop exposed because we only put jayz Exposed only for the simple fact that jayz name is the newest name brought up as far as celebrities go in the whole Epstein files saga. But if I was in jayz's defense, if one of jayz's people might say, that could be looked at as sort of biased because there was a lot of other celebrities brought up also, and we don't want to do that. Until jayz's proven guilty, we love Jay. We don't know what he's done. We don't know what he hasn't done. Like I said, his name was just picked out. It's like kind of like a wrong place, wrong time type of thing. So we will be covering the Epstein files and the celebrity files of this whole situation we're covering now for today's episode. But we're not going to put it under jayz Exposed. I don't know if we want to do that. It's also for the simple fact I'm trying to just be a different type of journalist. That can hurt you with the views sometimes. That can hurt you with the subscribers sometimes. But we want to have a moral at this podcast. We want to have a certain level of morality about us, if that makes sense. We do the ratchet too. We're not special. So let's get into it, man. This is the third and final installment of Tasha K. How should I say, the celebrities is getting bashed, if that makes sense. Now, not necessarily by her, but yeah, it's been 3 minutes. Let's get into the show, man. MDO podcast. We are a reactionary podcast. We react to everything, drill, media, sports alike, and let's get into it, man. I love y'all, man. They said, love the sound, nigga. So, get your spliff sparked up. Get your drinks poured up.
Interview with me, and after I brought the photos, she didn't say, "Oh well, I was at this party with him, but I'm not his mistress." There was none of that. It was just. You experience inappropriate behavior from a bishop, church leader, or member at any LDS church when you were younger? A global settlement is happening right now in 20... All right.
How did Claudia Jordan's name get in it?
And with who? With her?
With Kathy. Because I know you stated in one of your tweets that Kathy had told you... Did you say that Kathy had told you that she was friends with Claudia Jordan, or...
No, but I think but there's been other reports about... Claudia in other blogs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out, because I knew they were in pictures together, and I was trying to figure out how you got in, like, how did you come to that knowledge, or even if you did, because the internet, there's so many different versions out there.
Yeah, I never talked to Claudia. I've never met her.
Okay.
I don't think I even tried to reach out to her.
Okay.
But yeah, there was a blind item in Crazy Days and Nights saying that, it was a blind item, so it was like, the mistress of this, A+ rapper, like her best friend believes that she was murdered, years later, and then the blind item was revealed, and it was revealed that the best friend was Claudia Jordan, according to Crazy Days and Nights.
Okay.
And so
that's why.
Okay.
Crazy Days and Nights is usually pretty solid. They usually, they've been over the target for many years and ahead of the curve on a lot of these stories for years. So.
Okay. Well, shout out to Crazy Days and Nights.
Yeah, no, they're right. So they published that blind item in, I think, 2021. So, I never talked to her, and I just talked to Kathy, and so she was thinking about doing the story, and the next thing I know, I'm trying to get a hold of her, and I can't. And again, this is before cell phones. Most people didn't have cell phones back then, and so I kept trying to call her work, and so I called her colleagues, and I said, well, do you know what's going on with Kathy? It's just so weird. I haven't heard from her. She usually answered her phone. And the one colleague I got hold of first was like, yeah, she's dead. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, she's dead. I'm like, what do you mean she's dead? Like, what happened? Like, was she sick? Was there something wrong with her? And she said... she's like, I heard that she was just found in her apartment dead. And they didn't know what had happened. And so at that point in time, like, that was very disturbing for me to hear, because,
Now, for those of you who don't know what's going on, the young lady that they found dead was a young lady associated to Jay-Z. Some people would say it's his mistress, but I won't say that. I wasn't there, and some people were saying that this lady was silenced to cover up numerous things, everything. But what I will say is, I remember this girl. She was working in another town. They say she got kind of cozy with Jay, and she got a job in New York. It's a whole bunch of the details blurry, man. The details blurry, but I remember this case, and yeah, man, it's wacky. It's weird.
Intuitively, I'm like, there's something more going on
They
here.
said it was a brain aneurysm.
Yeah, they said it was brain aneurysm. She was 28. She was healthy, from what I've been told.
Just fitness.
And initially, there was sources saying that police did believe that it could have been a homicide, and there were signs of that at the scene, and the next thing you know, it's the coroner lists it as an aneurysm. And I remember telling my boss, I'm like, I think she was murdered. Like, there's way too many red flags here with the story that aren't adding up. And then there was other blogs like reporting that blogs that I had not spoken to, by the way. I wasn't talking to anyone. And there were other blogs reporting that, a reporter from a tabloid, reached out to her, and she was considering telling her story with this reporter. Well, they were talking about me. And so I don't know who their sources were.
Well, how they found that out?
Because I didn't talk to them. But Kathy...
Now, only thing I could say to that right now is, I'm gonna do some research on the young lady's name. I forgot her name. I did know it. This weed is tearing me up. I only say that because I really want to see. A lot of times when you're doing journalism, you get a chance to hear what the family and the friends have to say, and I really want to know what the family and the friends have to say when it comes to her death. I'm not saying that anybody is wrong or anything have anything to do with it. Just for myself. I'll be very curious to know what they think about this.
must have told some of her friends that she had talked to me. And then the next thing, so it was, it was getting around. And then some of these blogs reported that what happened after I talked to her on the phone is that she went to Jay-Z and said that I reached out to her, and she told him that she was considering doing the story. And then some other people wrote and or speculated that she gave Jay-Z kind of an ultimatum, like, give me X amount of dollars or else I'm going to tell the story. Now, I can't prove that because I was never told that by anyone, but I read that, on some of these blogs, and, they did have it right about my part of the story, me reaching out to her.
So obviously the rest had to be...
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know who they talked to. And so, there were so many red flags with this death. Like, none of it made sense. And, and I told my boss at the time, this is shady, like this doesn't add up. I think that this could be in, and I'm like, we need to pursue this. Like, we need to investigate this, investigate this, find out what really happened to her. And he didn't want me to pursue it. He didn't want the magazine to pursue it. It was really weird, and then the coroner came out and said it was an aneurysm, and anyways, but then over the years, I met with other sources that were kind of on the inside of this, so to speak, and they told me that they were very confident that she was indeed murdered, and they had more information on what went down behind the scenes, and they told me that it's their very strong belief, based off of the information that they were able to gather. Again, these are people that were on the inside, that Jay-Z, potentially hired someone to her. And they went into detail explaining to me how people like Jay-Z are able to commit crimes very easily because they have law enforcement in their pocket, they have coroners in their pocket, they pay people off. I was told that to pay a coroner off, to list something or rule something as a natural death, like an aneurysm, as opposed to they were like, oh, like $1,000, like 2,000, just a few thousand, like nothing, like chump change. And so it's always been my opinion that she did not die from an aneurysm, and it's always been my opinion that she was most likely murdered.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
And I do remember the time thinking, he had a bunch of mistresses back then, by the way. A bunch. And
there was one that came out, she made a music video. She's a blogger now, but she threw shots at Beyonce because she said, I'm Jay-Z, and like, I can't remember her name. Shit, she made a whole music video just dissing Beyonce and was talking about being a mistress of Jay-Z. I mean, beautiful girl. She looked Native American. This was probably like 10 years ago.
Okay, so that would have been like 2015?
Yeah. So I can't think of her name right now. It'll come to me, but
well, when my story came out about Kathy, it just was a blurb in a bigger story. Because obviously she didn't do the interview, and my boss didn't want to pursue if this was a potential homicide or not, which really bothered me in the way it
like he had something to do with it. Like he knew.
I wanted to investigate. Like this, to me, this was
maybe he got a call to be like, hey.
Well, that's what I wonder that as well. I wonder that as
well. So there's been that's crazy. There's been speculation that Jay-Z is Beyonce's handler. And I got this from a very, very, very credible source. And allegedly, Jay-Z is 10 years older than Beyonce. And, if Aaliyah was still alive, there would be no Beyonce. And so, like, when we see Beyonce go on tour, let's say, for example, Jay-Z is the one negotiating those tours. Beyonce doesn't have a deal with Live Nation.
Yeah.
Jay-Z does. She has to go through Jay-Z to get major deals, tour deals, and things like that, even her Verizon deal. And to see that she's worked more than Jay-Z, longer than Jay-Z, and she still hasn't made Forbes.
Right. I've never looked at it that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Never made Forbes. This lady is on tour if not every other year, every other 2 years. She's always dropping albums. He hasn't dropped an album
I know.
Since what? His Confession, when she made Formation, and everybody knew what Formation was. It was kind of like her way of standing up. And even when I listened to her country album, like 16 Carriages, it's like that song is like she's lost a lot of her life because she went from her father to Jay-Z.
Yeah. That would make perfect sense, and it actually...
Those are just my opinions.
Well, and it also helps me like put puzzle pieces together with what may have happened with Kathy. Because I do remember the time thinking there are several women that are having affairs with Jay-Z. And again, like the Kathy story ended up just being a blurb in a bigger story about another woman he had an affair with and allegedly a love child with. And I guarantee you that story was accurate because, like I mentioned earlier, Star Magazine, like they'll collect DNA, like the stuff they do to verify a story like that. Like they can't have a story like that on Jay-Z not being true because Jay-Z was too, right?
This picture real quick. Go ahead.
So, but now this baby mama didn't go on the record. Okay. And keep in mind, this is before there was TikTok and there were a ton of blogs. Like most people are still getting all their celebrity news from just the magazines. And so you have to understand that whatever the magazine said, like, carried the most weight, and they could either uplift a celebrity or it could just crash the whole world with one issue, right? What is this?
We're trying to figure out who that little girl is with Jay-Z.
Are you talking about Blue Ivy?
The other little girl.
Oh, yeah, that could be. So yeah, the one of the baby mamas, she was living in Trinidad. Her name was Chanel Scott, I believe. I can get you the article.
Oh yes, please.
See, this is another thing. A lot of our stories were only in the magazines. We didn't put them online. So that story isn't online, but I have the magazine, so I can show it to you.
Yeah, because we were trying to figure out who is this little girl with.
Yeah, that could.
She looks like Blue Ivy.
Yeah, I know that. I heard that the one in Trinidad, I believe that they would go there often to visit.
Yeah.
But so
and Beyonce knows about these kids, but only her kids are, I guess, because I guess her kids are claimed publicly as Carters. No one else can be claimed publicly.
Yeah, because
as a Carter.
Because according to the other story we did, and I didn't work directly on this story. The other mistress that has a love child with Jay-Z, allegedly. I didn't work on that story, but the reporters that did reported that she was paid, very well to basically shut up, and not say anything bad about them and not acknowledge that, she had an affair or this is Jay-Z's kid or whatever.
Because it would devalue Beyonce.
Well, see, and that's what I'm about to get to is that back then it's like, okay, he's all these mistresses, but like, why would he, Kathy, he has a bunch, right? It's like, you can't pick all your mistresses, and like, what would be the incentive? And when I was first interviewing, or not interviewing, because I never officially interviewed her, but when I first started just calling her, telling her I wanted to interview her, what I didn't realize at the time is that Beyonce was pregnant. The news had not broken yet. Okay?
That would make a good. We can't have a mistress and Beyonce.
So, and I also didn't realize that they were crafting one of the biggest publicity stunts to announce Beyonce's pregnancy on stage at the VMAs. When she did her performance at the very end, she turned, oh look, oh my God, she's a baby bump, she's pregnant. Like, no, I didn't even know, and I was like working in the business. I did not know she was pregnant. So then,
and this was like a few months after.
No, I was talking to Kathy before the announcement.
Yeah, no. So it's like,
so when I'm talking with Kathy, and Jay-Z or Beyonce's PR army is planning one of the biggest publicity stunts to announce her pregnancy, which that's a big deal for a celebrity because that's going to get you like great press for the next like 2 years, right? Oh, like, you know, like getting ready for baby, and you know, we did tons
but a
of baby
mistress
covers.
coming out.
So
That's possibly pregnant.
So that's the thing.
Talk about it, Liz.
So that's the thing, and that's when I was like, oh.
Cheers. I got this is so juicy. Cheers. Like, you're not even drinking, girl. I'm drinking for you. Go ahead. Go ahead. But go ahead. Listen.
And so that's the thing.
So let's pause it here a little bit. I gotta chime in. I'm chime in from time to time. Shout out to the great, wonderful people of YouTube. Shout out to the people from YouTube. They've been overly supportive. Shout out to YouTube, man. They gave me a show, and I'm very appreciative for that. So, for those of you wondering why I've been like a little bit more quiet this episode, all right. So, this episode was definitely hard for me. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm a huge fan of Jay-Z, but I have to be non-biased for you guys and as a man. We're gonna continue this series, but we're not gonna call it Jay-Z Exposed. For those of you who missed me saying that earlier in the episode, we're just gonna go with Hip Hop Exposed. We won't go with Jay-Z Exposed, at least until we find out, at least more so, how much. I'm a big factual person, so I want to know. I want to emphasize putting my I want to make sure I have my facts or have my ducks in a row, however you want to say it. I don't want to necessarily say Jay-Z Exposed at the moment. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that anymore. We went with Jay-Z Exposed originally just because his name was the name that was brought to the forefront when the Epstein files stories started coming back up. Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein names was the two names that were most closely associated at that current time, which was like I want to say 6 weeks ago. I want to give a big shout out to Tasha K, man. I'm really impressed with her, man. I really she makes me, people like her makes me dig deeper to become a better journalist, a better podcaster, a better entertainer. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I've seen all of her things, but I've seen some of her material, and I'm really impressed with her work. And so far, I think we've only done, as far as Tasha K goes, she's reappeared on my show a few times. We've had her on the show. We did this Jay-Z segment. Hold on. Got the snow trucks by my house. I'm sorry. So as I was saying, where she's been on the show 3 times. We have featured her on the show 3 times now. I've watched her off on my private time. I think I've watched her a time before this. I've heard her name attached to the Cardi B situation with the lawsuit and everything like that. For those of you who don't know, she had like a little kerfuffle situation with Cardi B at she covered actually a situation that Cardi B had with the bottle girl in New York, with a young lady and her friend was assaulted, and Tasha K covered it, and Cardi B, I guess, sued her for defamation in character, if I'm not mistaken, and won. Yeah, so that's what originally led me to knowing about Tasha K. But on a more positive note, Tasha K, man, I really think she's one of them ones, man. She's very talented. I like her, man. I'm a big fan, and I hope we have her on the show again. Maybe hopefully for something that's more positive. I don't know. Drink some of my water. So I'm gonna say this, right? gonna say this, right, bro? I don't be knowing what some people are looking for. I don't know what some of you guys are looking for. I don't know what the public is looking for. I don't know what this American society is looking for right now. And what I think you guys are looking for makes me scared. And I'm gonna tell you why it makes me scared, right? The American citizens and the conspiracy theorists and everybody else, you guys scare me because you guys are looking for, you guys are looking for you guys want somebody to affirm you that the boogeyman exists. You want to be told that that bad guys are here, that the bad guys exist, that monsters exist. That's all you really want when you know they exist already. But you want to be reaffirmed that. And that's what you guys are looking for. And that's very scary. And it's heartbreaking. It's like you guys want to be told that the boogeyman exists, and when you already know he does. But this is and I said this episode 32, episode 31, I forgot which one. I said this already, guys. You know why I don't, no, how should I say this? I'm scared for you guys because if somebody gives you the information that you want, if somebody gives you guys the answer that you want, I'm scared what y'all gonna do with that information. I don't know if y'all be able to take that. I don't know if I will be able to take it. That's why I don't look for certain information. I'm really scared for you guys, for some of you. It's like the wife who wants to know if her husband is cheating on her when she knows already. She knows her husband is cheating on her, but she has to hear him say it. That's how a lot of you guys. That's how a lot of you guys' behavior. That's how I judge, not judge. That's how I look at a lot of you guys' behavior when it comes to this Epstein files and everything with the Diddy stuff and everything with the celebrities. I'm not judging y'all though. I'm just saying, I get scared. I get scared for a lot of you guys when it comes to a lot of these things that you want. Like you want the government to tell you this, and you want this exposed, and you want that exposed. But why? What are you gonna do? You can't do anything anyway, though. So I don't think the file should be exposed. I don't think nothing should be exposed because what are you gonna do? It's nothing you can do anyway. Like, and I'm sorry to say that and I don't want to be the one to say it. I'm sorry. I don't want to be the one to tell you guys, some of you guys, that you want to fight a fight that's already lost already. I'm sorry. You want to penalize people who can't be punished anymore. I'm sorry to tell some of you guys that. I'm sorry to be the one to let you guys know that. There is the people that you want to punish and the people that you're angry at, they're long gone. They're long gone. And the ones that are left, by time they could be punished, or if there was a way they could be punished, they might be dead and gone. We all might be old and senile. By time Epstein files are released, you'll be probably 94 years old. You won't be worried about the Epstein files. You'll be worried about your grandkids. You won't be worried about that. And I shouldn't be saying this because I have a show, and in my show depends on people being curious about things like this. But I'm not saying don't be curious. All I'm trying to say is, before you worry about the Epstein files, worry about your children's homework. Worry about that first. Before you watch my show and try to look for a boogeyman somewhere, it's a boogeyman around the corner. It's probably your daughter's boyfriend. That's the boogeyman. It's probably the pastor at your church, or I'm not saying the pastor at your church, but I'm just saying, like, we gotta start looking for the monsters who are closer than we realize. That's all I'm trying to say. Because I'm of the type. Sometimes, and maybe call me Mr. Naive, right? I want to help the world, and I want to do a lot of things. I want to do a lot of things to help situations and help myself and help you guys and help everybody, right? But if there's nothing I could do, if I have the knowledge, I have a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, but I don't have resources to do anything about it. I'm gonna repeat that. I have a lot of knowledge about a lot of things, but I don't have a way to do anything about it. I don't have a way to do. I'm disturbed about a lot of things that I report about, but I don't have the power to do shit. I can't do anything. So I can't sit here and go crazy and you know pull out my hair over things I can't do anything about, and I don't want to see that for a lot of you guys either. I shouldn't be saying this, but you know, I'm just giving you guys, you know, I'm gonna play the show. I'm sorry, but I have to be real with y'all, and I have to be real with a lot of the American citizens too. We keep looking for boogeymen when there are other monsters and the other fights that we have to fight. That you don't have to search for the bad guy. The bad guy's right in front of your face. Because let me tell you guys, trying to pick fights with billionaires, I don't think that's the fight. I don't think that's the fight we should be trying to fight. I don't think that's a fight I want to fight. I don't want a problem with any billionaire. I'm trying to make sure I don't have cancer in 3 years. But anyway, let's get back to the show. I'm not trying to minimize anything, and I'm not trying to deflect or throw off blame. I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is we're at part 3 of this saga, and it's just been a lot of name calling, and it's just been a lot of like blaming and smoke and mirrors. And like I said, we're not gonna call it jayz Exposed no more after this episode, but I think we just got to go another direction. Like I said, I felt like this whole Epstein files is the new age Salem witch trials, but for celebrities. And if we're trying to truly get to the truth in the situation, I'm just saying maybe this could be the right way to go, but I don't know if this is the right way to go. You know, I don't know. So I'm about to like my other split. MDO podcast, for copyright purposes, fair use purposes, we are a reactionary podcast. This is not my content. I only react to content. We only react to content on this channel. If you want to see this content uninterrupted by a goofy like me, you can go to Tasha K on YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to her channel. She has a lot of amazing content. Please go check her out. A really amazing content creator. I got a lot of love for that lady. I hope I didn't make anybody angry, and I hope I didn't feel like I'm trying to desensitize the situation. I hope I didn't do that. All I'm trying to say is this, right? And I used to be the same way. We look for bad guys, and we try to put maybe things that we're going through off on people who are more successful than us, and we try to look for bad guys that are not really there. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I don't want to offend anybody once again. You know what? Let me just play the show. I don't want to. You know.
I was thinking, and I'm pretty sure that she died before Beyonce did.
Yes, she did.
Yes, but
she did.
But there were reports that she was found after the VMA performance. But I'm pretty sure that I knew she was dead before Beyonce announced that she was pregnant. Now it was 15 years ago. I could have that wrong, but I do remember thinking, why would there be a major motive to this mistress? Yes, if she's going to give an exclusive on the record, that's a huge problem because none of them had at that point in time. But then I'm like, why? Like, why would there be an incentive to her? And then I remember thinking that, and then I watched the VMAs, and it's like, oh boy.
What did you say to your boss then? What did you say to your boss then? Like, this is you. I mean, even if you don't have absolute concrete facts at the time, just to put it together, like just to say, okay, I'm not saying it's a, but there's a lot of elements.
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, like, okay, you talked to her, Kathy White. She said she didn't know Jay-Z. Never seen him, never been in the room with him. You coming back. Here's some pictures. Y'all in the room together. So we pretty much know. Are you gonna talk, or are we gonna have to run with it? I think she had a conversation with Jay-Z. There's no way that she did not have a conversation with Jay-Z.
Well, and here's the other thing you have to understand.
Allegedly.
Things are different now. But back then, it was very different, right? They could not have a story like this overshadowing the publicity stunt they've been planning probably for years, knowing like how these publicists work. Mm-hmm. They could not have anything overshadowing it or dominating the news.
All right, so I'm gonna break this part down, and this is why I say a lot of times, I don't like to watch things. I don't like to watch things live with you guys because, and in contrast with me breaking down the content that we watching, if I watch it before you guys, I have a chance to digest it and just break it down more. So when I'm with y'all, I can do what I'm doing now. So let me break down what she's saying, right? And this is the conspiracy part. So look, which was kind of scary. So they trying to say that Jay-Z had a lot of mistresses, and rappers having side pieces is not something that should be eye-opening or raise eyebrows. But what she's trying to say is this, and this what kind of caught my attention. So the young lady wasn't killed because the young lady wasn't unalived, or the young lady, if something happens to the young lady because of this situation, if that was the case, I'm gonna put the big if. The young lady, this happened to the young lady because her opening her mouth about Jay-Z or Beyonce would mess up. Because remember, for a lot of you who don't remember, Beyonce revealed she was pregnant, I think, after the MTV Music Awards, if I'm not mistaken. It was like something like sort of after the show, like soon as the show was about to be over, that's when Beyonce revealed that. And during those times, there was no Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. There was social media. Social media was there, but during those times, TV and TV and magazines and TV magazines and things of that nature. That was the way news was spread. So, this young lady coming out making waves before Beyonce and her team could bring out that revealance of her being on MTV, that could have messed up a lot of money. That plan, so that young could potentially hundreds of millions of dollars. So this is why she maybe was silenced, because it wasn't the fact that she was a side piece of a rapper or mistress of a rapper exposing anything. It was because there was a play being made by whoever in the powers that be, because I don't know anything. I'm just a nobody with a little small podcast. I don't want to get in trouble with anybody, but this young lady was gonna possibly mess up a 5 to 7 year, $3, $4, $5 billion rollout, and the powers that be can't let that happen. So that's what a little bit. I'm just here to break down a little bit of the hard stuff for you guys. So,
that would be devastating to their public image back then, because back then, the stories we did do about Jay-Z, I think a lot of people just kind of I don't know, because there was no one that went on the record, But if this woman went on the record and we would have made her take a polygraph test and pass it, and and all of that stuff, evidence, show, send me text messages, all the fair stories I ever did. I had to get phone records, text messages, emails, like physical proof that happened, not just your word, right? And we would have done that if she was willing to tell her story, which she was considering. That would have dominated the news, not the fact that Beyonce was pregnant. And that would have been devastating to them at the time, because the culture was a little bit different. I remember when Jesse James was having an affair on Sandra Bullock, you know, everyone was like, oh, yay, Sandra Bullock, girl next door, yay, she finally, you know, like, I think they ended up getting married. And then he had an affair. And that was like that was In Touch Weekly broke that story. And that was like one of the biggest bestsellers for In Touch Weekly ever. And that story dominated the headlines for like months. So if this, now it's like people hear about affairs and it's like people like don't even flinch. But back then, these things were really scandalous. So that would have been absolutely devastating for their brand, and they knew that.
Like the sources that I have, like, just even talk. Let's talk about the alleged lawsuits that Jay-Z has settled, like under Roc Nation for sexual harassment, sexual assault, for the is it 4040 Club or 44 Club?
Oh, the nightclub.
The nightclub. There was alleged lawsuits that he settled there for alleged R-ing women and stuff, and even like the allegations surrounding Foxy Brown. You know, like, I think I don't know what his game plan is gonna be. Collect, because they're coming to collect. You know what I'm saying?
That's the scary part.
I don't know if Beyonce is leverage because she is right now the moneymaker. Her and Taylor Swift, they're making the most money in the music industry. No one is making money like them. I don't know if that gives him kind of an umbrella or a shell if he stays connected to that. I was told that this particular album, it wasn't even supposed to be named Cowboy Carter. This was a last minute decision. This was supposed to be her finally stating on record that her and Jay-Z are not together. Who buys? Liz, come on now. You're a journalist. I'm a news personality, but I talk to people every day that deal in Hollywood. When they bought that second house in LA, after owning a house that's over $100 million, you and Beyonce together are only worth $1 billion together, right? And then you go and buy another home for $200 million that's like 40 minutes away. Why would you have two houses that are worth that much?
Right.
That's almost half of your net worth.
Right.
In the same city. I can understand you owning a house in New Orleans or New York, but in the same city 40 minutes away. You remember when they announced that they bought that second house?
No. When was it?
It was, hold on for a second. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly when it was. I think it was like 2 years ago. So, and it said Jay-Z and Beyonce buy second home, but they never sold the first one. The first one, almost, I want to say $175 million. And at this time, they weren't even worth close to $600 million together. So you go and buy a house that's half your net worth, and then you go buy another house that's down the street 40 minutes away that's worth $200 million. That's just as gorgeous, just as big as the first one. That, to me, plain as day, that is a separation.
I mean, sometimes celebrity couples will get a place 40 minutes away that's in Malibu on the ocean. So that's like, you know, their beach home that's 30 minutes away.
And this is, and
but
look,
when it's
and this is how they covered it as a Malibu beach home. But the price tag. I know. Let me stop you right now because you gotta take a look at these waves I got, baby, waving at you. Yeah.
It's the NBA on Prime.
Thursday.
Yes. Ain't that cute? I got these products that I use actually moisturize my hair from root to tip, and as you and the tip. I love that it doesn't have any cancer-causing chemicals, no preservatives. And so start what you're doing. Hit the link below in the description box as well as in the comment section and Google Honey Beauty right now so that you can start to love all your hair as I'm loving all these waves right now that's waving bye-bye to y'all. Look at these. Look at these. Look at these. All right, winos. After months of planning and negotiating, I am excited to announce that shoptkdeals.com is now extended to you. If you are a creator like myself, or maybe you're just a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you're just someone that just wants to make passive income as main income, shoptkdeals.com now offers that invitation to you. So which means you can become an affiliate partner and make anywhere from 30 to 40% on each sale that you make on shoptkdeals.com, okay? And so listen, I'm excited to work with you guys. I'm excited to train you guys. Not only will I be training you, we'll be hosting webinars, sales calls, and all that to make sure that we're all successful and we keep all of these brands happy. So I want you guys to stop what you're doing now. Go on over to the website, shoptkdeals.com, hit join my sales team, and I will see you guys on our sales call, okay? Because they went to the parties, I guess.
Yeah, and
30,000 square feet, 200 million, and their other house that's 40 minutes away is 200 million.
Yeah,
that to me is not vacation house. You don't buy a vacation house that's worth more than your
it is bizarre.
regular estate.
And TMZ's the absolute worst.
I know they're the absolute worst, but I'm just like, when I saw that, I was just like,
assume everything that they post is directly coming from their publicist or like Jay-Z himself. Just forget. Like,
don't even get me started with Harvey Weinstein, because I mean not Harvey Weinstein, but
Harvey Levin.
Harvey Levin.
Oh, don't get
you
me
know,
started.
It's Hollywood. he's a gay man. Ain't no telling what parties he's been to, allegedly. Let's not get into that, okay? But yeah, it just makes you wonder, like, okay, what are you feeding? And when you hear 16 carriages, she is directly stating that her entire life, she recorded this album years ago, but her entire life, Summers, her whole life has been taken away from her. Mm-hmm. She wants freedom. And now Jay-Z is all of a sudden the name of the album is Cowboy Carter. And he's traveling, when I tell you,
what a narcissist.
everywhere with her. She stopped posting pictures of her anniversary years ago.
She's the next slave princess. She's like Britney. She's trapped. She probably can't get out, and she knows it, and she knows that if she tries to get out, they'll do to her what they did to Britney Spears. Because any musician with that level of fame and power, they will not let you go.
Jay-Z is not working. He ain't really got no artists on the Rock Nation. What does he own? Like, think about it. Like, when you look at Jay-Z's, okay, the Ace of Spades champagne. What else does Jay-Z own? He don't own no ball team.
Right.
Like, they were trying to say that he owned a ball team. No. Like, that stuff, that's all. He's like, you know how you buy shares into something? You buy shares to it. But I'm talking about, like, money. Like, he is on Beyonce's ass, like, everywhere that she goes. And yes, my husband follows me too, but this is together. We're together. We're a team. But that, I'm like, he ain't worked in years. Like, she is slaving. How do you just get off tour and you're about to announce another tour? And then he's on was it the Grammys? On the stage now, all of a sudden trying to take up for, like, this young lady has worked hard and she still hasn't been given album of the year. How do you have the most Grammys? Yes, how does she have the most Grammys? Why do you need this album of the year?
Right.
Why is it so important?
Right.
So now you want to come for Taylor Swift's spot in Inner Country. Mm-hmm. I want to see how these ticket sales are going to go. I really do.
You know, you asked, what does Jay-Z own? Well, it sounds like people.
That part.
You know?
It's true, though. But I'm just like, what does... Beyonce is clearly her own artist.
Yeah.
Why doesn't she have a direct deal with Live Nation?
He's not going to let her go. There's no way. He could absolutely hate her and he still would not let her go. Like I said earlier in the show, these people, all they care about is money and fame. Specifically the handlers. There are a lot of people in Hollywood that are just pure victims. And they're slaves. And they can't get out of it, even though they want to.
She went from her daddy. She went from her daddy. Same thing that her dad did to her mother, and Jay-Z is doing to her.
Yeah. Yeah. And so many celebrities have been through it.
And you know what? Matthew never speaks on Jay-Z. Ever. He talks about everybody else, but he never says anything about Jay-Z.
Well, money talks, right? And money keeps a lot of people quiet as well. You know?
Yeah. Diddy. And I don't want to spend too much time on this real quick. Yeah. And then I want to talk about your legal issues and shit, because they came after you hard. Yeah. They're coming after me. Kevin Hart's whole empire is coming after me. They're mad. I have a direct personal assistant on record stating the very things that was speculation in the news, saying, I was there, I saw it, here it go, that's who we gave it to, boom, boom, boom.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Look at this check for $160,000. If you're looking to get money you were owed for an injury.
Let's talk about Diddy. Now, what were some of the things that you, I guess, came across as your time as a journalist working for these publications about Diddy? Like, anything?
Yeah, I never heard that I never heard any allegations against him that he was trafficking or sexual abuse. Not just him, potentially being gay, but in terms of, potentially running a trafficking ring for potentially the purposes of blackmail, I definitely never heard that when I was in the business.
So do you think this is something that's new? Like maybe it kind of evolved over time?
Yeah, well, so if you look at Jeffrey Epstein, I believe his operation started in the late 90s. And when I say his operation, I'm not just talking about the child sex trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the blackmail operation that he was running for intelligence agencies like the CIA and Mossad.
Oh.
So, and what he was doing is basically sounds like what Diddy allegedly is doing as well. I mean, very similar.
And so you believe that the Department of Homeland Security went and raided his houses because they were going to extract shit?
Well,
in order for it to not be found?
Well,
like when they heard there was cameras all over the houses, go get them motherfuckers.
There's a lot of people that, I get it. A lot of people are really frustrated, like me more than anyone else, because I focus on exposing elite rings, right? There's a lot of people super frustrated and, they'll say things like, when are we going to get at Jeffrey Epstein? He was arrested and then, commits. And then Ghislaine Maxwell as well. And that's it. But we know that the ring was massive. So there should be dozens, if not hundreds, maybe thousands of co-conspirators and clients. And people, that he was just kind of used as the fall guy. And she was the fall girl. And everyone else is protected. And, rogue agents, FBI, Homeland Security, you name it, is protecting all the other people in the ring. I don't believe that. I'm more optimistic. I think that there are definitely really bad elements in the three-letter agencies, in law enforcement. I know that for a fact because I've been the target of a lot of their bullshit, right? But I also know that there's really good people in positions of great power that are working behind the scenes to take down these pedophiles and to break up these rings. So I am very optimistic that this isn't just, wag the dog or, like, let's have Diddy be the fall guy or let's pretend like we're raiding his home and we're not really going to do it. I don't believe that.
You think that
and maybe there are bad people in the deep state, the cabal, law enforcement, whatever, that are trying to make that happen, but I don't think they're going to succeed. I think that the good guys are going to outsmart them, and we're going to see we're going to see this thing unfold and play out over the next few years. But going back to your original question, I'm comparing Epstein's ring to Diddy's because they have very similar markers, right?
He's the Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. There's a song, like Jimmy Levy. Like Jimmy Levy's did a song on that, like Epstein. But down to cameras in the toilet. Jeffrey Epstein had cameras in his toilet. So did Diddy, allegedly. From what I've read in my research, she did too. And I mean, think about that level of surveillance. And by the way, like creepiness. Like how creepy is it that there's a camera in the toilet? That's
all right. So I'm gonna give my take on a few on this Diddy Jay-Z topic, and then after that we're gonna get out of here. In this one, before I end the show, I want to say, for the few people that's watching the show, I really appreciate you guys. I see But for a lot of people that's supporting the channel, and matter of fact, just for all the support that I'm getting, you guys definitely help me get through the tough times. Y'all always put a smile on my face. Love y'all, and I appreciate y'all every day. So yeah, I just gotta point that out. So let's get back to my final thoughts, my closing thoughts. I want to be real with y'all, right? I want to be real with y'all. So far, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on just so far what I think on everything that we've learned together. Just us on this whole part. We up to part 3. It's been jayz exposed, but we're gonna change it to hip hop exposed, something else exposed, and we're gonna make it like a 10-part series because this has been really interesting. But my closing arguments is gonna be this, right? It's always a very interesting gray line area, should I say, in a lot of situations, right? Happy or this is how I am, and I'm gonna tell you guys how I am for the people who don't know. For those of you who watch the show, or for those of you who really been watching the show, you guys pretty much know I'm left or right, up or down, red or green. I'm one way. I'm really not too much in the middle person. It's gonna be one way. It's gonna be another. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of my thoughts, right? And I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of my thoughts on how I don't want to necessarily say the FBI. I want to say how the justice system versus celebrity, should I say, how that war has been going. I'm gonna give you maybe a little bit of my thoughts on that too. It's all wrapped up in one little ball, one big ball, should I say? So, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. The way that the Diddy trial went, I felt that it was very childish. Now, I'm not trying to say I was on Diddy's side. I'm not trying to say I wasn't on Diddy's side. I'm saying this. The justice system, I have so much respect for the justice system, right? But it has to be justice. The system has to be just. In order for the justice system to work, the system has to be just. I'm going to say that again. In order for the justice system to work, the system has to be just. It has to be justice. And when we're trying to pursue justice, we can't judge a book by its cover. We can't think of ourselves or think of our loved ones. We can't say, oh, this person, I want to give him a fair trial, but my daughter got beat up by this guy once, so I'm not gonna trial this man fairly. You can't do things like that. And I'm not trying to say that was done. What I am trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is the Diddy trial gave me vibes of a little bit of Salem witch trial vibes. It gave me a little bit of it gave me a sprinkle of racism. When I say a sprinkle, I mean a sprinkle, just a sprinkle. Because a lot of people aren't really racist. A lot of people don't even know what real racism is. I think a lot of people, that's just a word that some people use, but no. Some people are just bad people. They're not racist. A lot of people really don't know what racism is. A lot of people just want to use these words to further further validate their to further validate their victimization, their self this to further validate their self their self their self-placed victimization, should I say. Yeah. A lot of people use that word racism to validate their self-placed victimization that they put on themselves. That makes sense. So the Diddy trial, right? It came off as a lot of I felt it was a lot of some of it was it gave me schoolboy or school, being in school, like being in school and like it gave me like it was like high school. It reminded me of, it was like high school when something happens in high school and everybody's like talking about it. It gave me I feel like the justice these are one of the few times I say that the justice system kind of failed. And I'm not saying that the justice system overall failed. Maybe I'm saying that maybe the Diddy trial wasn't about justice. I feel like that had a lot to do with a lot of people behind the scenes, a lot of payola, it was a lot of things done with money, and there were a lot of things transpired behind the scenes with the Diddy trial. Besides Diddy being in trouble, and besides Cassie having anything to do with anything, if that makes sense. I'm trying to make sense for you guys. The ramifications and let's just say between presidential election and the Diddy trial and the closing war, there just was a lot going on. There were a lot of things. There were a lot of players in that game that weren't, so to speak. And I don't want to go over some of you guys' heads. So I think I'm gonna end the show. I think we're gonna end the show here. Once again, I want to say thank you to YouTube. They've been amazing, very supportive. Thanks for everybody who's been supporting me with the show and the podcast. I love y'all and appreciate y'all more than you guys know. When I'm not posting, it's not because I'm lazy or anything. It's because I'm working on a lot of projects day and night, and I wake up doing this and fall asleep doing this. So, yeah, man, I got a lot of love for you guys, and I will be back in a little while to do the next episode. We will be doing more hip hop celebrity exposed, but I don't know if we'll be doing anything like this for a few episodes. But we will come back to this very soon, I promise. We're gonna be, for those of you who enjoy Chirac News, the next episode we're gonna be doing Chirac News and probably the Taboo Room. We go back to the Taboo Room. That's like our second home. We go to the Taboo Room. Shout out to Aaron. Go to the Taboo Room. He's on YouTube. Like, follow, subscribe. Go check him out. He's an amazing content creator. And we wanna stay on for one more minute and get out of here. Just give me a couple. We want to get out of here in a couple seconds. The last but not least, we're gonna end it for fair use purposes. This is a reactionary podcast. We react to everything: drill, music, hip hop, etc. We react to everything in the culture. You guys in the comments, y'all always make my day. Y'all always make my day, bro. Yeah, man, we gonna get out of here. MDO podcast. I'm the voice of YouTube. We the voice of YouTube. We out of here, man. Peace.